Yeah.
Joe?
I'm excited.
Rolling.
Well, no, I'm not ready. Turns out I have to write some things down.
All right.
Some things.
He's doing Nicole Mitchell, John.
Oh, okay.
I have...
Lucky guy.
I have...
He's doing school closings in Minnesota.
I am ready.
Rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1487, February 19, 2025. 59 degrees on this day for the third day in a row in 2017. And I know Friday, the record will also be 2017, which means 4 out of 5 days this week in 2017, we really hit a lucky patch. And it was 20 below on 2 occasions, 1929 and 1941.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Does anybody know what the temperature was this morning about 7 a.m.?
10 below.
Oh, yeah, it was 10. Yeah, Chris is right. It's 10.
And the only reason I know that is I was monitoring it because I didn't know if we were going to have delayed start today or not.
Okay. I'd like to say something about that, about school closings, but I don't want to sound like I'm on the boulevard yelling at the clouds.
Sure.
So I've come up with a different way to look at this. What is the future of the school year, I wonder, about 10 years from now or 20 years from now?
What do you mean?
If 10 below was too cold to start school, and I know many schools delayed start times today, if not, didn't even have school. Many schools, if not all, didn't have school yesterday. My question is merely, what is the future of the school year in 10 years from now?
At a recent basketball practice, I asked that very question to a teacher in our school district, and they said it's easier. The explanation that was given to me, it's easier for an administration now to make a call like they did, say, on Tuesday because of how we've implemented distance learning and e-learning, if that helps answer your question.
It doesn't. Thank you for your effort.
No, I want more on that. So these kids who are lucky enough to get out of school actually have to stay home and do school?
So I'll give you an example. So Will's in 7th grade, right? And they just say, all right, it's an e-learning day. And they're still at home, but they can now just do their schoolwork on their Chromebook.
Okay, that's not what I'm talking about.
That sounds so awful.
I think Joe's looking more about what is the
I can handle it.
attitude of the school.
I got it.
You think you got it?
I put it out there on the table, and then it gets taken from me. And
That's what happens.
Yeah. I'm merely suggesting to you that if 10 below is a benchmark, why not 9? Is 9 below that much warmer? Or in other words, what's the future of the school year? Maybe the future of the school year is will be no schools. Maybe it will be all e-learning. Well, I'm not being facetious.
And you said, what, 10 years? Is that what you said?
20, 10, 15, I don't know. But when I was a kid, and here comes the man yelling at the clouds part.
Uphill.
No, we all experienced the anticipation of crowding around the radio when it was snowing hard and hoping you'd hear your school close.
Yes.
I don't recall, and it could have happened, I just don't recall either my kids or even me having school closed because it was cold.
Right. When we approached the school, Nativity grade school, if it was cold, they just said, go into the school. Don't wait out here for the 8 o'clock bell.
I don't ever remember that. But today, we're closing schools or starting late at 10 below. And I think it's a legitimate question. These are decisions made by graduates of the failed academy, and they're now in the failed academy running it. And I can go very heavy here. I can go very heavy down the mystery road on why it would be closed at 10 below. I don't choose to because I don't want to bore you.
Well, why not? You brought it up.
Well, what?
Busing.
What?
Busing.
Yeah, I'll happily take the opposing view here.
All right.
I think your point of view comes from the 1950s. I mean, number one, like Chris said, don't give me that look. like Chris said, we can learn at home. Number two, no kid is going to get harmed or get frostbite waiting outside. Have you ever ridden on a bus when it's 10 below and the bus is doing 40? It's about 80 below inside that bus. It sucks.
Well, you missed his point. He walked to school uphill both
No,
ways.
I think this is really good. And as a parent of a child that's in 5th grade right now, I thought I could keep a straight face.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay, Dr. Phil, let me fill you in here.
You have to give yourself permission.
Yeah, let me fill you in here. You're all missing the point. If it's 10 below today, why isn't it 9 below then? Who has determined 10 below?
I bet it's written down somewhere.
Curriculum? It's part of curriculum? Yeah, I bet it.
No, wouldn't the school districts all have their own little laws?
But they're all from the failed academy, and
Yeah,
they're
there's no
all
doubt,
they're
but
all limping through the day to get their paycheck. They have no.
Well, a school district like mine, 30% of the kids are waiting for the bus in rural areas.
Okay, I'm gonna leave now and come back in and start the show.
Yeah,
What are you, rookie?
yeah. Come on in. Take the
go down to
reset
the
on this.
lunchroom.
I'll leave you with that question.
Tim Barlow.
I don't want a child to freeze up like where Kenny lives in Hickville, up there with a bunch of hillbillies. I don't want the kids standing at the end of the gravel driveway freezing to death. That's not what I'm suggesting. And all of you morons missed the question, with the possible exception of Height, who had the wise counsel to not say anything. My question was,
didn't want
what
to hurt
is
your
the
feelings.
future of the school year? A simple question that you all trod upon.
Okay.
Now, and don't give me this, hey, my kid's in 7th grade. He went to e-learning. He watched Bugs Bunny all day. Who are you kidding?
Actually, he played Madden most
Okay,
of the
these
day.
kids aren't e-learning. They're not e-learning.
would
I got
hope
your
not.
e-learning right here.
Right, where is it? Right here?
Right here.
Got it.
I see it there.
What is
have you
the
seen
future
out-
of the Minnesota? I remember when Arnie Carlson determined. No, it was a turning point. Arnie Carlson determined. I can't remember the exact temperature, but the number 14 sticks in my mind. That 14 below was too cold and schools were canceled. And when was Arnie governor? In the 80s, 80s, 90s. And that might have been the beginning of the end. Now we're down to 10 below. And again, I think it's a really interesting question. What's the school year of the future going to look like? It's not going to look like this. If you're canceling school because it's 10 below, then it's inevitable 5 below is going to be too cold, and 82 degrees in humidity will be too warm.
Ooh, that's a good one. Stay hot. It's too hot.
It's too hot.
Joe, you'll notice if you go out to Chris's neighborhood, there's little outhouses at the end of every farmer's driveway where their kids hide in that thing waiting for the bus to come.
In fact,
cold
this
weather.
Kenny, I'm really going to get Joe's blood boiling on this one. I got a neighbor.
I don't think the object of this show is to get my blood boiling.
The bus comes at the end of our cul-de-sac. It's 3 houses down, so it's not that far of a walk for us whatsoever. We got a neighbor that lives closer than us that waits at the end of the street in her running car with her kids until the.
That drives me absolutely
We
crazy.
do that all over up here.
I can't stand that.
It takes and you can see the bus coming from a long ways.
Arnie was 91 to 99.
Okay, it was somewhere in there that schools got closed not because of snow, but because of cold. There we go. I'm not suggesting that some little child should be standing on the corner freezing to death. I merely wondered, without yelling at clouds, what is the school year of the future going to be like? Because it's inevitable that the same accommodations made for what failed people in the academy construe to be too cold of a day will be made for too warm of a day.
Let me enter the conversation now.
I wish
Joe,
you
okay?
would.
Oh, he's all in line.
Now,
He's off.
Now I want to argue with you about something else you said because you picked on e-learning, and of course, my kid was a sophomore, junior, senior in e-learning, and he's smarter than all you guys. So
I'm sure.
Can confirm.
I'm sure it works if it's the right kid.
But John, I have the other side of that coin. My nephews, the brilliant wrenching twins,
sure. Yeah.
during COVID had to go to school on their computer, and they hated it.
Yep.
Hated it.
Mine did too.
Can I tell you something about that?
You don't get to see your buddies and stuff.
Can I tell you something about going to
that's
school
okay.
during
Girls.
COVID or
That's
not
girls.
going to school during COVID? Republicans have created a new bill called the Never Again Act, which would strip the state's governor of the ability to declare peacetime emergencies that can expedite mandates for business shutdowns and stay-at-home orders, instead putting the power in the hands of a vote by the legislature. And, of course, the backstory on this is that Walz, that was the beginning of the end for Walz. He got too full of himself, and he wore that little Burger King crown that somebody gave him, and he was a king, and it really wreaked havoc. It was a dreadful, dreadful period in the state's history. And remember, in April of 2020, for example, Keith Ellison was warning business owners they would face fines if they didn't comply with the Dear Leader, because Walz issued stay-at-home orders necessary as the COVID. And he instituted a snitch line, for God's sakes. Mm-hmm. It was just a dreadful, dreadful time. And at the time it was happening, did we appreciate how insidious it was as it was happening, or are we coming to that realization? Because we're certainly at that realization now. I think we did get to the point during when he was wearing his little Burger King helmet that that it was insidious.
We hated it. The five of us were bitching nonstop about it. Yeah.
Alibi Drinkery in Lakeville opened its doors to dine-in customers. The same day, a Dakota County judge granted a temporary injunction forcing them to close for the duration of a ban on in-person dining. I remember this. In January of 2021, nearly a year later, a Dakota County judge found Alibi Drinkery owner Lisa Monet Zarza, I remember this case, in contempt of court for keeping her Lakeville, Minnesota bar open in violation of the executive order. In the decision, Judge Jerome Abrams ordered her to pay a $3,000 fine for each day Alibi Drinkery remained open in violation of the order, and risked a 5-year liquor license suspension for its continued failure to comply. Ultimately, her license renewal was denied, forcing the business to close its doors permanently.
Pretty steady hand, isn't it?
Currently, the Minnesota legislature can terminate a peacetime emergency by a majority vote in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. I would not trust the Democrats to do that. Under the Never Again Act, sponsored by Representative Drew Roach, Republican Farmington, a governor's authority to declare an emergency would be revoked and instead be in the hands of a 2-3 supermajority vote by each chamber. An emergency order would then expire after 5 days unless extended for up to 30 days by another vote. The proposal would also eliminate an existing misdemeanor crime for a person who violates an emergency rule or order issued by the governor during a declared emergency. What they're saying, the Never Again Act is in response to an overreach and abuses by a runaway governor who invented penalties for violations of his executive orders, said Representative Roach before the House State Government Finance Committee. The issue is what motivated me to get involved and run for office, and this is a top priority for not only my constituents, but Minnesotans across the state. As we saw during COVID, the governor used his power to strip people's rights. My intent is to ensure the governor doesn't have unilateral power over the people and give the power back to legislators. Hear, hear. I couldn't be happier.
Representative Roach has been on with us, hasn't he?
I don't think so.
Really? He's from Farmington. I know he's a GLer because he kept referring to Walz as King Walz. Yeah. And they got a little upset with him and told him to refrain from doing that.
Kenny, are you claiming copyright infringement?
No, I'm just, he sounds like a GLer.
Get this.
Joe, wait, you're not going to change, are you? This thing has no chance. We know that, right?
Well, the Democrats would never agree to it.
No, this will never go anywhere. We got no chance.
It should. Walz should not have had that power.
And there's also some question on whether or not this includes deploying the National Guard.
Well, don't worry. He didn't get around to that.
Yeah, Roach didn't answer those questions.
Yesterday morning, House Republicans were trying to crack down on fraud.
Okay.
They're in the what department?
The fraud department.
No, it was State Government Committee. And Representatives Patty Anderson and Ben Davis presented House File 1 and House File 2 in the State Government Committee, which included a series of reforms designed to prevent fraudulent activity in state grant programs and ensure public funds are used responsibly. So far, so good?
Sure.
right?
Okay.
Sounds
All
really
right.
good. What you've been asking for.
The proposed legislation would establish an Office of Inspector General and create a fraud reporting hotline to encourage transparency and accountability. It would also require state agencies to immediately halt payments when fraud is suspected, preventing further misuse of taxpayer dollars while investigations are conducted. And I will just stop here and add my own paragraph that Walz is not to be trusted in any way, shape, or form. He has allowed this to happen. He doesn't have oversight. He doesn't crack down. He has no leadership capabilities. He has no competence. He has no sense of fiduciary responsibility. He's like a regular person. In other words, he's a moron. Additionally, the bills introduce stricter requirements for nonprofits seeking state grants. Let me just cut to the chase. All the Democrats in the committee voted against this.
I wonder why that is, Joe.
They voted against the requirement in this proposed legislation that would require a state employee to report suspected fraud. All DFLers voted against that provision. They are Bonner, Clardy, Freeberg, Howard, Jones, and Kraft. Every Democrat in the state government committee voted against requiring state employees to report suspected fraud. Once again, it becomes entirely natural to be skeptical of DFLers. Perhaps the $610 million has been going to them. We know it went to some food fraudsters, and we know it went to some daycare fraudsters, and we know it went to some addiction treatment center fraudsters, and we know it went to autism fraudsters, and we know it went to Medicaid fraudsters. Maybe it's also going to the DFL, and maybe it's also going to the governor.
And is it coincidental that they were absent when this initially kicked things off? Back when? Didn't you suspect that as well?
Well, one of the reasonable suspicions you could have come up with is they didn't want to be in session because they knew fraud was going to be discussed. And they didn't want, they're guilty. I think they're all guilty of lining their pockets. How do you like that?
Okay.
That's where we are now. They're all guilty. They have walking around, you can see the dollar bill sticking out of their pocket.
But it does beg the question, why? Why would they be against this? What if you're even trying to play devil's advocate, why?
I played that with myself. I played that game. I'm
Whoa.
trying to come up with why you would do that. Why would you vote against? And I can imagine their answer might be something along the lines of that could result in personal vendettas against people that you don't like, so you would charge them with fraud. And I mean, there's a million ridiculous reasons to vote against it. That would be one of them.
I can't tell you a couple. There's a story actually from the House website. Representative Ginny Claiborne, DFLer from Plymouth, Representative Mike Freeburg expressed frustration the bill received a vote when it's not finished, especially in areas under the committee's jurisdiction. Representative Jim Nash, Republican from Laconia, the committee chair, countered that has happened in recent years with a number of bills when the DFL was in charge, including paid family leave. In a letter to the committee, Aaron Campbell, Commissioner of Minnesota Management and Budget, expressed concerns with the bill, including that no other state has an inspector general with executive branch oversight responsibilities appointed by a legislative entity, and the change would inappropriately
I gotcha.
Not mine.
I
Yep,
got to
her
do
word.
it. Sorry, John.
Inappropriately be a legislative role with executive function. And let's see, there's one other one. Concern also shared by union officials that state employees would transfer from executive branch positions governed by a collective bargaining agreement to public employer without a similar network. The only thing I can figure out from reading this is that some of the Democrats wanted the bill to be finished, and then they'd vote no.
Well, the other thing I would suggest is that maybe other states don't have an inspector general, but name me a state that needs one more than Minnesota.
possibly California, but that's it. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any chance we
Yeah.
could get any of those Democrats on the show? Are we friends with any of them?
Hell no.
No, but I got a response on a text that I'll look at when we're on the break.
You can't look at your phone during this show.
I think John's explanation is the best. I was going to come at you with, is it Abilene paradox or groupthink? Abilene paradox is where the collective agrees on a path of action that none of the individuals want to do. And you know what groupthink is.
Yes.
So do you think a lot of them are just, if it's not for John's reason, do you think they're just saying no because that's what Democrats do in this case?
I will accept the DFL's response. I'll accept
right.
it. I'll accept it for now. Yeah.
All right.
Say, I told you yesterday, I finally got around to it. I made my appointment with Precision Garage Door.
Nice.
Okay.
I called yesterday
Officially.
afternoon, and I said to whoever answered the phone, I said, I gave her my name, and I said, Garage Logic, we sponsor you. And she went, oh, that's nice. And
Kind of the other way around, though, right?
They actually sponsor
Right,
us.
right.
But
answer.
You said we sponsored you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They sponsor with. We have
That'd
them
be a
as
bad idea
No,
to
I
do a
got it.
podcast if we had to spend money on other people.
Right.
So I said, well, she looked at the computer and said, I can get you in tomorrow between 8 and 10. I said, that'd be great. Earlier to 8, the better. And I'm not exaggerating. At 8 o'clock today, the doorbell rang.
Really?
After getting an email saying we're on the way. And his name was Adam, delightful young fella. And I said, well, I'll meet you. I'll go open the big door and I'll meet you out there. Really, all I wanted was a new seal on the bottom of the door because there's too much of a gap. And I wanted to consult with him about that. And we got out there and I opened the door and I said, yeah, I'm with Garage Logic. We sponsor you.
No. They
No,
sponsor us.
you sponsor us.
Right.
quick question. When you answered the door, were you Porky Pigging it?
I caught you off guard a little bit.
What,
No.
Cup of coffee in hand.
jammies? You had jammies on?
Nope. And I said, I'll meet you out there. And I said, yeah, I'm with Garage Logic. He went, yeah, I know. And yeah, I said, well, I'm the
There you go.
The flashlight.
Sponsor
I'm
guy.
the mayor.
I'm the mayor.
Fireworks.
I'm the fireworks
flashlights,
commissioner. Oh, yeah, I know.
Boathouse. the whole
Pleased to
deal.
meet you. And
You want my autograph?
I thought, I felt a little awkward at that point. And,
Do you want my autograph?
You know who's good at that?
didn't
Is Matt.
say that.
Rookie's really good at that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. I can talk my way through anything and remind people how important I am.
Bottom line, he couldn't put the seal in, but he suggested a repair that I buy a rubber seal. He recommended where I could get it. And you got to do it during warm weather because you got to glue it to the concrete and
That's
all
a
this
bonding.
stuff. Yeah, and then he said, as long as I'm here, I'm going to give you the full inspection. He did a multi-point inspection. He squirted juice on the stuff, so it's real quiet.
Nice.
And all I paid for was their what's the fee called when they arrive? Their the service
Appearance
charge,
fee.
appearance charge or whatever. It was great. It really is. I'm glad to have had the experience because I've been talking about it, and it's fantastic. And it's Precision Door MN. Put this number into your contacts, 612-263-6985, or find them online. Also, new doors. They can cover you with a new door. And if you get a new door right now, they're throwing in an opener, which has a value of more than $760.
Nice.
Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Soucheray.
Suits or Matthew, what was that exercise machine thing we used to have in the talk studio up in Maplewood? The Truth something.
It was the
Not the Vegematic. It was the
it was the weight loss deal. You put the belt around you and it jiggled you.
And it shakes the weight off, and you guys called it a Truth something.
But we put Vogel on it often.
Have you ever heard of a Yamaha Bravo? It's a snowmobile, fan-cooled one-lunger. Those things shake just like that exercise machine. You run those things, and they just sit there going...
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Hey, now.
Jason wrote me last week. about how he hadn't run in a couple of years because of low snow conditions, and it was running when he finally got it started. It was running bad. So he put it on his list to get around to it. One day he's standing in the kitchen, and his 9-year-old goes blasting by the house on a perfectly running Bravo. Well, it turns out the kid on his own, seeing his dad use Seafoam in the past, added Seafoam to the tank the last time they had it running, let it sit for however long, started it up, second pull, and now runs perfect, all from a couple of shots of Seafoam in the tank. So now that kid knows what it takes to get cylinders running. So, and he also knows how to get things done without asking a parent. That's the big lesson there. And of course, Jason now has a kid that's a mechanic. So it's a win-win-win-win, all due to Seafoam. If a 9-year-old can do it, that means anybody can do it. Treat those cylinders with Seafoam. It's a legend with adults and children around the globe. It's truly a wonderful product in a world of bad gas. It is Seafoam.
Just a quick note from the GL geologist Stacy, who provided this before she boarded a plane this morning to fly off to some geological disturbance somewhere. She is also echoing the idea that the big one in California could be inevitable, and there are currently West Coast tsunami fears. As experts warn of inevitable earthquake, there's been some serious rumbling in the South American continent this morning. Thank you. We are the only American podcast that has a lake detective, a geologist. We got it all covered. Do you recall a fellow
two
named?
people, we got it all covered.
Well, we have other agents.
Okay, got it.
You'll recall the name Tom Cullen, I hope.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
He wrote us in late January, and I'm going to relay to you his follow-up. And I'm doing this because he's walking the walk of a GLer.
Okay.
You'll recall that in January, late January, he wrote, "I am beside myself as I look at the lack of care the Minnesota Democratic House representative has for the constituents of their districts. I am in Minnesota House District 52B," and he said Rebecca. It's Bianca Vernig, isn't it? Well, let's double check that, John. Is there a legislator named Rebecca Vernig? I think he's referring to Bianca Vernig. Yeah, he is. Later, it's
okay.
I am in Minnesota House District 52B, and Bianca Vernig is my absent rep. This is when the Democrats were refusing to show up for work on January 27th. I've been watching President Trump be presidential by doing something about the problems our country is facing. He is tireless and decisive as well as effective. He isn't talking, he is acting. I cannot compel Bianca Vernig to do the job she was elected to do. I have called her office with no response and sent emails to the same end. I'm inspired by our president, so instead of just talking, I've decided to act. I have filed against Representative Vernig in Dakota County Conciliation Court. I am asking for a return of the tax dollars I paid to the state of Minnesota in 2024. Clearly, my tax dollars are at risk as the state is infected by waste, fraud, and abuse at every level. Bianca Vernig, my basement-dwelling rep, is violating and neglecting her duties to me as my elected state rep by failing to appear on my behalf to represent my interests in ongoing meetings and sessions of the Minnesota legislature. I am being taxed without representation, and I want my dollars off the table and returned to me before they buy a hotel in Somalia. I will have my day in court, and I will be doing something. I am risking $80 to file and my time. I am not an attorney or anything of the sort. I sell electric wheelbarrows. I must work every day, and I am grateful for the opportunity. These people have forgotten who they work for, and even though I can't go to her office to make my point, she will have to face me in court. I will have my say. Best regards, Tom Cullen. I now have his update. Bianca Vernig, by the way, remember, is the legislator who had the taxpayers pay her attorney's fees in a private matter.
Yep.
Good morning. I wanted to update you on the progress of my conciliation court case against Bianca Vernig of Minnesota House District 52B. As I told you in my last missive, I filed a suit against her. I have been notified that the court has accepted my case, and they have scheduled my hearing. I have been scheduled for a virtual hearing on July 24th at 10 a.m. July 24th. I have decided to go forward with this case, even though in my naivete I believed that I would meet her face to face in one of the many court buildings that my tax dollars fund and support in Dakota County. Evidently, the courts have decided that keeping the great unwashed away from them physically will keep them safe and able to dole out justice from whatever bunker we are paying them to shelter in. This further infuriates me, as I have every right to have my case heard in open court. The principle of open court proceedings is a cornerstone of the American judicial system. This transparency ensures that justice is administered fairly and allows the public to observe the legal process. Transparency in the judicial process fosters trust and confidence in the legal system, reassuring citizens that justice is conducted impartially. I will go through with this case, but I am finding that the problem of absent public servants in the forums they are supposed to inhabit while they do the people's work involves more than our previously absent House legislators. The problem appears to be pervasive. I've decided to look at this whole process through a lens of getting what my tax dollars previously supported and institutionally delivered. My eyes are being opened through this process to how big the problem really is, and I, for one, intend to do what I can to ensure that I get what I am paying for. If I have to dedicate my free time to being a giant pain in the ass to these people and institutions, then that is exactly what I will do until I see a better return on my investment of tax dollars. I am just a typical taxpayer. I am a wheelbarrow salesman. I pay taxes. I obey the law. I want to see hardworking people with common sense and integrity as public servants and elected representatives. I will keep you updated as I go through this process. Best regards, Mr. Cullen, Tom Cullen. We should bless this fellow. He's doing the Lord's work.
Tom is more than just a wheelbarrow salesman. He sells the Chore Warrior. It's a two-wheeled wheelbarrow that's electric power assisted.
Wonderful.
It's an amazing tool.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
His larger point is not diminished by that observation.
No.
He is a Minnesotan with a job who pays taxes and obeys the law. Where are the people supposedly representing us? Do you think Bianca Vernig has any idea of a wheelbarrow, much less an electric one? This is where we are, people.
Considering the amount of S that she spews every day.
Joe, I'd like to answer your question. No.
Okay, thank you.
Do you read that off your phone, Chris?
Well, see, that's just mean. Actually, I got it from Twitter.
Boy, I just saw something else that came in from Stacy, the GL geologist.
Closer to home?
4.6 in Texas this morning.
Ooh.
We have 5.6 off the coast of Atacama, Chile. And
Would the rumbler in Texas affect the Gulf of America at all?
I would think not, but I would think the one in Chile could. So she's on it. She's flying around right now to the sites of various
Doing research.
geological disturbances. So I'll keep the Cullen file here and anticipate his update. It's isn't it something he has to wait till July?
Does he need any help from us or other GLers? I'll throw that out there, Tom. Let us know.
That's a good point. If there's anything we can do, Cullen, he knows how to get a hold of me. He's got the email right here, and I would be more than happy to offer the services of Garage Logicians. But he's raising larger and more interesting points. And it may be for the first time in his life he's been involved in having his eyes opened by this. These are people who really don't have anything to do with us. We see that repeatedly. They just have no idea of the world we live in. They're on the third rail.
We're at the bottom of the list.
We really are. And in the meantime, the Capitol is leaking money. It's just flowing out every orifice.
Whoa.
$610 million so far, and Democrats don't want to talk about it, and they also managed to get that unique arrangement. We'll have to talk to Marion about this. The fraud committee has no subpoena power. I don't know why the fraud committee would have agreed to that. Maybe they had to get the committee going, but they have no subpoena power of these people.
Do you suspect that was a concession they had to make?
Yes. And then we also learned that when the Minnesota Department of Education, the current guy is Howie. Who is it? The current guy?
Howie.
No, it's
Mandel?
Nellie Fox.
Yes.
Nellie Fox.
Who are you looking for?
The current head of MDE,
Current
Willie
head.
Jett.
Willie Jett.
Willie Jett. He was pleading the fifth,
Come on.
which is one of the great Dave Chappelle bits of all time, of him pleading the fifth in court. Did you ever see it?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say.
Oh, God, is that funny? I'm pleading the fifth. Five.
He's had a few that I don't think you could probably get away with making today.
That one you could,
Oh, for sure.
especially when it's happening right before our eyes. The Minnesota Department of Education hauled before a fraud committee says, I can't. We can't talk about that. We can't. I got to plead the five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth. You want to talk to Johnny Height?
I first want to tell you and all of our friends about my friends at North American Banking
What are you
Company.
going to do? I see they were here today.
How about this? I was just going to show that to the council and whoever's watching us on the YouTubes. We got these sweet quarter zips from Mr. Bilski, North American
I
Banking
thought
Company.
we weren't supposed to take stuff like that.
Well, see, they're the sponsor of the golf show.
Yeah.
We're just going to borrow them for
we can wear these to the golf show on Friday.
And then give them back?
Yeah, and then we got to give them
Yeah.
back.
All right.
Yeah, right. That's not going back though. I love quarter zips, so I'm very excited about that. Anyway,
I have quarter zips for many schools. I've never had one for a bank.
do you get that for your like tuition reimbursement? Is that
That's
how that
what I
works?
get. I get a quarter zip. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the right. There's the
Good deal
trade-off.
for you. Anywho's, North American Banking Company, here's the deal. It's banking done differently. That is their tagline. That is their slogan. And that's how they want to take care of you and your family, your business needs, and point you on the path of financial success. North American Banking Company has 6 Twin Cities locations to serve you. I go between Roseville and 50th in France, but you can also see them in Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other banks. It doesn't matter whether you're looking to buy a home, finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car that you've been thinking about. My friends at North American Banking Company are going to be able to help you out. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but you're always going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. Locally owned and operated, which means loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not sent out of state. So this helps you business owners solve problems quickly and expand your business with confidence. Your first step should be checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com, and you go there to learn more. Banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
Yeah.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Soucheray.
I'm going to tell you people about a website, and it's unclogdrains.com.
I'm looking at a picture of a toilet.
Well, there's all sorts of drains that can get
That's
clogged.
right.
Look at that right up there.
Yeah.
Big clogs, small clogs.
Look at that.
Go to unclogdrains.com, 651-436-3370. That is the McDonough plan. They have a great setup. And what does that mean? That means you are going to benefit. They are transparent pricing. They are wonderful people that serve the Twin Cities metro area. And at McDonough's, they pride themselves on their professionalism and knowledgeable techs that specialize in unclogging drains, video drain inspections, and advanced water jetting of complicated drains. They've got those big, huge vac trucks to remove those hard-to-reach materials, and their Guzzler brown. When they come up with the vac truck, I want it to be called the Guzzler. They suck up those dry materials, wet materials, and any version of the two combined. If it can fit in the hose, they will vacuum it up. So go to the website, uncloggeddrains.com. Remember that sewer main that goes out in the street. That can be very expensive if you don't have it checked out. 651-436-3370. They're the best in the business. McDonough's uncloggeddrains.com. Joe?
May I say something prior to John's newscast? It's something of a happy or positive note. Everything I've been reading lately suggests that the next wave of millionaires in the United States are going to be people in the trades. Plumbers, electricians, mechanics. Now,
Drain cloggers.
Anybody know absolutely?
Or uncloggers.
Anybody know the reason why?
I would suspect because there's going to be so many more people that are going to rely on private business to do that.
That is the wrong answer.
I know why. Because when they are trained in school, you have to be precise. There's no how
wrong
do you feel.
answer.
Damn it.
Because if AI takes over much of commerce, AI can already do a column and a podcast. We've had it done for us. We've seen the examples.
Voiceover.
I'm completely unneeded in the world.
Right.
But AI won't be able to unclog a drain. And AI
repair
won't.
a light bulb.
Kenny, your kid's ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
These people in the trades are going to make a wonderful living, and the people now working in offices, sitting in front of a computer, many people in the medical field, on and on and on and on.
Please don't say airports.
Airport, no.
Damn it. Oh, okay.
They can be replaced by AI. I don't know if this is next year or 30 years from now. I'm just saying, all you people that are considering the trades, keep thinking about it. It might be the way to go. Well, I'm replaceable. A plumber is not.
Rookie, you joked, but Trump and Doge and Elon, they are going to take over the airports with AI. Isn't that what the next step
screwed.
is?
Then you can't retire then.
Here is John Haidt.
Joe, my nephews are in mechanic school right now for auto mechanics.
Head of the curve.
Not only do they have to get their hands dirty, but they have to know everything about the computer side of automobiles. Mm-hmm. And mechanics these days are making quite a nice paycheck.
I agree. AI trades. Check the trades out, GLers. What the hell are you doing?
What is that?
I hit a button on here.
Well, unhit it. Here's John Haidt in the newsroom.
Thanks, Joe. This news update brought to you by North American Banking Company. From the Star Tribune today, allegations of witness tampering in the federal Feeding Our Future trial.
You think?
This is so awesome.
Rocking the courtroom yesterday, leading to new security measures and an investigation into the role one of the defendants may have played in the incident. U.S. District Judge Nancy Brazel said, "I just want to be clear, witness tampering is a crime and a serious one." At the urging of federal prosecutors, Brazel agreed to look into allegations that one of the defendants on trial, Salim Saeed, improperly invited some of his co-defendants to attend certain portions of the trial in an attempt to corrupt the proceedings. Saeed is on trial along with Amy Bach, the Feeding Our Future founder.
It was a mostly peaceful corruptional meeting.
Wow.
Now, what makes this even weirder is the co-defendant, one of them at least, that he invited, already has agreed to testify for the government in this case and another case. So he wants him to come watch the trial. It's the second trial, of course, in the sprawling fraud case. Last year, the first Feeding Our Future trial, where a jury convicted 5 of the 7 defendants, ended with an attempted bribe of a juror in a rare incident that drew international media attention and resulted in jurors being sequestered for their safety.
Is this the one where you flew the chick in from Seattle?
Yep.
With a bag of money?
She was the bag lady.
Yeah.
$120,000 and I don't know, they were probably large bills.
That's probably right.
In a grocery bag. And if they wanted to.
And listen, us saps have a grocery bag full of stuff, but it's the crap we got to take to somebody to do
Linda.
our taxes.
Right, we got to take it to Linda.
First major upgrade of concessions and retail options. There's a story for Rook here. In more than a decade, coming to Terminal 2 at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. It includes a full-service bar and restaurant, a new McDonald's restaurant, and a market selling officially licensed Prince items. And products from Minnesota businesses will be part of 6 new offerings to be added as part of a $263 million Terminal 2 expansion that's underway. The venues will be in existing locations within the terminal or in new spaces, and they are expected to open by early 2027 when the building project is finished up. Among those include the Illy Cafe in the terminal's lobby. I had to look this up. It's apparently a famous Italian coffee place.
Okay.
That will allow passengers, employees, and visitors to use a mobile app to order drinks from the Italian coffee company. Behind security, Caribou Coffee will install a self-serve station offering specialty-grade coffee and espresso-based beverages available 24 hours and also order-ahead and counter service. Lounge-style seating will be added. The Subway restaurant will be refurbished and joined by a McDonald's, with both offering digital ordering and ready-on-arrival pickup.
They don't have a McDonald's there at Terminal 2.
They will now.
This is the terminal that's not the main one.
Correct.
This is the terminal that has 14 gates and now is going to add several more gates.
So it's going to end up being like the main one.
Yes, but still not as big. Main one's
What does the main one have? How many gates does the main one have?
They got a
They've
lot.
got
You
A, B,
can
C,
get
D,
them. Yeah. You got a lot of
E, G,
gates.
F, concourses, they're all over.
You can get gates.
You don't
So
want
you
to
don't
be
know
on your
the number.
No, they have A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Got it.
But you don't want to be on B because B is a mile away.
See, all that makes me think of is Airplane, the movie, or Airport. No, Airplane, the comedy. We're arriving at Gate 1.
Right.
Arriving at
Right.
Airplane keeps, never mind. Anyway, the Hometown Market store that we talked about with the Prince items will have locally sourced food and gifts along with works by Twin Cities-based painter and illustrator Ashley Mary. The convenience store will also sell products from Minnesota businesses and join Terminal 1 as the only brick-and-mortar store outside of Paisley Park to sell Prince merchandise.
I can tell you a story about a woman that was on the non-secure side that came into town for some reason, and she wanted to go to the Prince store. And we said, you need to have a ticket. She said, I'm not flying anywhere right now. And she was visibly, she meltdown, crying, wailing because she couldn't get inside to go to the Prince store.
Where is there a Prince store? In
At
the main terminal?
Right by
Terminal
Stone
1,
Arch.
yes.
So there's one in the main one, and now there's going to be one in another one.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. A collision the Star Tribune reported on you do not want to be involved with. A car and a moose collided after dark on the Iron Range. The outcome on each side of that encounter was very different. It happened around 8:30 last night southeast of Virginia on Highway 53, just north of the Highway 53 split, according to the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office. The driver of the car escaped with minor injuries while the vehicle suffered significant front-end damage, as you would expect. As for the fate of the animal, the Sheriff's Office reported the moose did not survive.
Nuts.
Sheriff's Commander Nate Skelton said that the driver was trapped but got out on their own after hitting the moose. The moose was collected by the State Department of Natural Resources for its next stop, a food bank. Skelton said vehicles hitting moose is a fairly common occurrence in his county, but not as often as deer hits. Whether it's a moose, a deer, or other wildlife in the way, you don't want to take evasive action. We've all heard that, of course. Best is slow down, don't swerve, just hit them. The moose is Minnesota's largest animal, according to the DNR wild animal. They average 950 to 1,000 pounds and get as big as 1,200 pounds.
Aren't we due for about the biannual Star Tribune piece on climate change has killed the moose?
Didn't we do one recently?
I think it's about every 2 years we get one.
Okay.
Yeah, they send somebody up there.
Sequest. Any of you guys ever visit Sequest in Roseville?
Nope.
It permanently closed yesterday.
Yeah, I missed it.
Considering
you know how
none of
you
us have been there, I'm surprised why.
Do you know how the Capitol, you said the Capitol was leaking money?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, John.
The closure comes as Sequest filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in December and petitioned the court to sell the company to an insider for $80,000 in late January. Sequest later abandoned the sale, and a judge appointed a trustee to oversee the ongoing bankruptcy process. Sequest has been at the center of a year of investigative reporting by our friends down at 5 Investigates and ABC News, which revealed repeated incidents putting animals, guests, and employees in danger. Bankruptcy court records show the company's gross revenues dropped in 2024 from about $27.2 million in 2022 to $15.28 million. Sequest told the court it currently has more than $16.5 million in liabilities compared to less than $700,000 in assets. Those records showed Sequest owed nearly $500,000 in unpaid rent to Rosedale Center for its Roseville location. Sequest didn't respond to a request for comment Tuesday about the closure. The Roseville location had cut hours and admission prices back in December amid growing scrutiny in 2024, including an active investigation conducted by the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources.
I wonder if they had an octopus. Serious question. I would love to
don't know.
get to know an octopus.
They're super smart.
They are probably one of the most intelligent creatures on Earth.
Where do you get one?
You can get them.
What do you mean by get to know?
Well, I can't around here. You'd have to be diving in the ocean, but people have visited and gotten to know and developed friendships with octopus.
Are you high?
No, it's a true story. It's true, Kenny.
You know what you say when you meet them? How you doing, Eisenhower?
When I was in Croatia on the yacht, there was a guy
Did you
that
see
was.
one?
I saw one that was caught by a diver.
Oh,
Wow.
He had caught one. He speared it, and he was heading
let him
out.
go. Oh,
Was it a big one or?
Not Hollywood big. It was
it?
probably the size of the head was the size of maybe a bowling ball, and then the tentacles were.
they're
So-
very, very clever. They're very loving.
Did you see the
That one
suction
wasn't real
cups?
clever because he got caught. You know, that was a slow one.
All his buddies got
Slow-
away.
Yeah, right. Everybody else got away. Come on, Ray.
Why don't we take a quick break here and hear from Mr. Reavers?
You know, if you got that photo, Rook, of the octopi,
Yeah,
you could have Fast Photo Film Lab turn that into an piece of art
Mike,
canvas.
we'll call it up right
How
now.
about that? FastPhotoFilm.com is your old-fashioned photo lab right here in Bloomington, Minnesota, and they offer in-house film processing, photo scanning, photo books, greeting cards for any occasion, and here's the biggest thing, photo restoration. Here's the deal. If you've got a photo idea, they can help you out. It's the best time of the year to dust off that old box of photographs and receive 50% off their Pro Scan prices. The more photos you have, the greater the savings. Because every family has that box of memories and they often don't know what to do with them. Well, guess what? Digitize them, and then you'll have them for safekeeping that generations can then enjoy. And like I was mentioning to you just a moment ago, FastPhotoFilm.com is asking you to bring all of your old photos into their lab, and guess what? They can turn any photo into professional art print for your wall. They could print on all kinds of media, whether it's fine art paper, canvas, and even metal prints. It's a really cool idea and a great gift idea as well. So check them out online today. It's fastphotofilm.com. Photo is spelled with an F. Fastphotofilm.com, or give them a call directly at 952-835-1815. And please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Soucheray.
I know it's cold right now, baby, but if you want to heat up your life, you might want to look into the Minnesota Golf Show. Minnesota Golf Show is going to be just a fantastic
Look what I'm holding
place
up
to be
here.
this weekend. What is that?
ball marker with GL on it. This from the bank.
North American Bank.
North American Bank.
Yeah, that's Bilski.
Yeah.
I've got a great deal for you. Tickets for the 2025 North American Banking Company Minnesota Golf Show. They're on sale right now. The show runs through Friday, February 21st through Sunday the 23rd. It's at the Minneapolis Convention Center. It is a very festive
look what I'm
atmosphere.
holding up.
What is that now?
That's a divot repair tool from North American Bank. I'm going to put this one up against ours.
Are those available?
I think this one's better.
Well,
Slide
Bilski does
upgrade?
everything first class.
This is nice. In fact, I almost killed myself opening it.
Well, compliments of TwinCitiesGolf.com. Each ticket that you purchase will get you 10 free greens fee passes if you purchase online. That's a value of $350. Your e-ticket will include a web link to redeem the free greens fee passes. You got more info at mngolfshow.com, but you can demo the latest clubs, save up to 50% on brand name golf apparel, free 10-minute lessons from local
Keep that
PGA
out.
pros.
Keep it out, Joe.
Drive for show, putt for dough with your Twin Cities Mazda dealers. Brooklyn Center, Burnsville, Inver Grove Heights, Minnetonka, and White Bear Lake. A chance to win a $100,000 prize package, which includes a Mazda CX-50 and the longest putt contest. There's so much going on. GL will be there live
Can win
Friday
a
at
car?
noon. Well, it's among some of the prizes. There's a $100,000 prize package, brah. This year, the show ambassador, Johnny Randall, he'll be spotted on and off the grounds throughout the weekend, but it's going to be a good time.
Is that old Honda that you used to run, Matthew? Is that the car you can win?
Yeah, the
the hole in the gas
2004
tank?
2004 Honda. We can make a deal with that if I'm
Show
not
us
going to give it to
that
Newgate.
tool again. Joe,
It's a
put it up.
divot repair tool.
Show it to the camera.
And you
This looks like an emergency fork.
press the button
Oh,
and bing,
like a
bang,
switchblade.
cool.
Oh,
Look at that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Try to
You
get that
can eat
through
salmon with it
security.
in his
See,
trunk.
ours. Will you run and get my briefcase real
You
quick,
find
please?
yourself at a
It's right
tailgating
there.
party.
No, I
and
just
you
wanna
could eat a
show you
wiener
the-
with that thing.
I just want to show you the
Well,
difference.
I like Reaver's idea. You could scoop up some
And then
salmon
this-
in that.
See,
right up to
I
your
just
mouth.
want to show you the difference in the two
That's
divot tools.
mngolfshow.com, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait for Friday.
We'll
Good
be
eating
in
down there,
June.
too. The 19th hole.
We're going to have Randall on, right?
Yeah, Johnny
on the show.
Randall will join
Oh,
Garage
John,
Logic
what do you
on
mean
at
by
the golf
we?
show.
As soon as he,
got a
as soon
mouse
as he
in your
shows
pocket?
up, I'm just going to go, Charlie. See if
Now,
I get any reaction.
Here's the GL.
What do you got here?
Divot tool.
And both,
Surprised that didn't break in your
I
pocket.
was just going to say,
Yeah.
Oh,
See, you press.
Don't squeeze it too hard.
You go down like that, but then here's the bank one.
North American Bank.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a good. That's
That's
quality.
a nice.
It's like a switchblade thing.
Plus,
It just
plus
pops
it's
up.
got a ball marker on it. See, look at this. This comes off. I bet.
That's how
He's
the
giving those away?
Yeah, look at that.
They're free?
It comes right
ball
off
mark.
the thing.
wow.
That's a
Boom.
$7 item.
Here's ours. Here's ours.
that's nice.
Yeah, that's you
Hopefully-
stir a drink with that.
Hopefully, every cart girl across the state of Minnesota will get one of those, so they can keep off the, back off the golfers that are.
And you got to be careful when
Looking
you
for
put
something
this in
extra.
your pants, because of the button. You could hit the button, and all of a sudden you're
What are you,
stabbing the
LBJ?
groinal area.
What are you, LBJ?
Stabbing the
Please,
groinal
I need some
area.
pockets with
Please
room.
isolate that, please. You got to be careful when you put that in your pants.
Yes.
It's really, it's really nice. Put those in there.
All right. Well then, let's.
Well, here's one. No, here's another one.
Jeez.
No, John Haidt gave me this.
I did.
Look at that. You did.
Oh, that's right. I did. You're
This
right.
is from
Last year's golf show.
That was from the golf show, I think. wasn't it?
Legendary.
Yeah, I bought a great shirt from Legendary.
Yeah, and you said this came with it.
That's correct.
Well, now I
Yes.
have it.
Oh,
I
you bought
have
a golf
a-
shirt that came with that tool. Is that the deal, John?
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
My white zip is legendary, and I get nothing but compliments on it.
Oh yeah, I wore mine to the state fair the last day, and I had about 6 people ask me where I got it.
Kenny, I got you.
How exactly do you use one of those to repair a divot? Don't you just grab a chunk of the grass and throw it down and step on it?
No, they're for repairing.
Well, that's what the great unwashed do.
repairing dents in the green, not the fairway. The ball leaves an indentation. You go around the perimeter of it and fluff
my
up
God.
the.
You're so precious. Okay. You. Jesus.
It's
Okay,
when you-
we'll be back with.
Did Kenny go Trump today on his face? Do you have
what
do you
happened?
have
Is it
orange,
orange?
makeup on?
I can't
Look
get
at
the,
Kenny's face.
He
I
does
can't
kind of
get
a
the
red
lighting
tint.
right in here.
His face looks orange.
It's usually it's shine on there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Shine on.
Hey, yesterday we mentioned Brian Lazinski, hired by Walls or hired by the
Hey,
education.
wait. Joe, we're in the middle of the news right now.
That's all right if Joe wants to move
Oh,
on.
I forgot.
I don't care.
I'm sorry.
You thought we were done.
I thought. Go ahead,
He
John.
had a
I'm
cousin
sorry.
named Greg.
We
didn't
did a
he?
lot of golf talk there. So.
Yeah.
Greg Luzinski, good reference, Rook.
Thanks.
Very good. Baseball reference. All right. In other news, let's see. The U.S. and Russia have agreed to work toward ending the 3-year war in Ukraine after talks in Saudi Arabia between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. We talked about this yesterday. They ended up meeting for more than 4 hours. Afterwards, all this led to a war of words between President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine and President Trump. Zelensky not invited to the meeting, and there were no Ukrainian representatives at the meeting. Afterward, Trump called Zelensky a dictator, escalating a public war of words between the two leaders that started when Trump falsely accused Ukraine of starting the war with Russia. Trump's accusation, posted on his social media network Truth Social, came just hours after Zelensky accused Trump of repeating Russian disinformation. Speaking to reporters in Kyiv, Zelensky pushed back on several unfounded claims the U.S. president made while reinforcing Ukraine's position that a deal to end the war needed its involvement. President Trump acknowledging that inflation is back, but he rejects any responsibility, instead pinning it on the Biden administration. He talked with Fox News' Sean Hannity along with Elon Musk. He said, "I'm only here for 2.5 weeks," when he was asked about inflation being back. In that same interview, the president said he will not cut Social Security benefits. He told Hannity, look, Social Security won't be touched other than if there's fraud or something. It'll be strengthened, but it won't be touched. He also vowed there would be no cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. None of that stuff, he told Hannity, will be touched. Speaking of Social Security, a lot of U.S. adults think the federal government is overspending, but a new poll from NORC Associated Press shows that a lot of Americans, including Republicans, think the country is spending too little on programs like Social Security. About 2/3 of Americans say the U.S. government spending too little on Social Security and education. 6 in 10 say too little money is going to help the poor. A similar share say spending is too low for Medicare. Roughly 7 in 10 U.S. adults say the government was putting too much money toward assistance to other countries. About 1/3 say the military is getting too little funding. Another third says it takes in about the right amount. Most Republicans say the military is underfunded, while slightly less than half of Democrats say it's getting too much money. Government cuts have hit a presidential library. Visitors at the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library in Boston were asked to leave yesterday after staffing cuts made by the Trump administration forced the institution to close its doors indefinitely. Library officials received a phone call from the National Archives yesterday morning informing them all employees still in their probationary period were being laid off. Library closed at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Former Congressman Joe Kennedy III, a grandnephew of JFK, said around half a dozen positions, all critical to daily operations, had been affected and that the library will remain closed.
There's a beautiful library in St. Paul called the Hamlin Midway Library. It's damn near Snelling and Minnehaha would be its closest intersection. It's gorgeous. It's being torn down. They're going to build a new one.
I don't understand
Really?
that.
And it's too late to stop it.
How did you say how old it was? I'm sorry, did I miss that?
It was built in about the early 30s, 1930. It's very lovely.
Is it
Old-fashioned, where the librarian would have had a bun in her hair and told you to be quiet. It was
Maybe
one
not
of
up to
those
code? Is that maybe what the
Oh,
deal is?
there's some complaints that it has difficult disability access, but, a ramp would be a lot cheaper than a new library.
Was it a works project building?
It might have been. Yeah, it might have been. Now, you can't tear down National Register of Historic Places. Is that correct? I mean, that's why they're on the National
Right.
Register.
Or
So
it's very difficult to.
Well, I don't think it gained that status.
Vatican officials say Pope Francis has developed pneumonia in both lungs.
That's not good.
No, not at his age. This further, according to doctors, complicates the recovery. The 88-year-old pontiff was hospitalized Friday after a week-long bout of bronchitis worsened. On Monday, doctors said he had developed a mix of infections in his respiratory tract. On Wednesday, this morning, the Vatican said Pope Francis had a tranquil night, woke up and had breakfast, saying he was in good spirits. A tour surprise announced. After having retired from touring in 2018 due to a hearing loss, Paul Simon is hitting the road for a 4-month North American tour. Instead of large venues, because of the hearing loss, I'm assuming he will be playing intimate venues starting April 4th in New Orleans, running through August 3rd in Seattle. It's called A Quiet Celebration. It'll hit 20 cities over 55 dates, and that does include the Twin Cities. He will do 3 nights at the Orpheum Theater, April 20th, 22nd.
I
and
have
23rd.
a portion of that sound check.
Hello?
Huh?
Is it just him, John, or a full band?
They didn't announce that during the thing, but I think it's a full band. It sounded like. I don't think it's as big as before. I mean, I've seen him already. Yeah,
Chris, that was hilarious. I don't remember ever laughing as hard as I just laughed.
Wow.
$8.1 million for that library, and the new one just looks like that's a neat building. It reminds me
$8.1 million for what?
to reimagine the library.
new
That's
one?
what they spent.
For the new one?
Yeah.
You hippies remind me of the people that say, "Oh, don't tear down that barn."
No, you know
why
what?
don't you stick $1 billion into a worthless building, you nosy so-and-sos?
It reminds me of
I have
our.
to pay for it. It's a taxpayer.
It reminds me of the KSDP building on 61.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
Boy, Kenny, something happened in the last couple of minutes. You're
what
picking
kind
on
of-
Chris. You're
someone
yelling at
pee
the
in your
hippies.
weeds? I don't like your financial tone.
You know what I just noticed on my phone,
Uh-oh. What?
Chris? It's going to be in the 30s this weekend.
It's supposed to
Yeah.
be 45
4?
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll cancel school.
Oh, come on. Yeah, too hot in February.
hot.
Too much melting.
Kid might slip.
You could fall in the puddle.
Italian officials orchestrated a series of raids in Palermo and neighboring towns targeting suspected members of the mafia and arresting around 150 people.
Who's signing up for that gig? Nah, just leave him alone.
Large
My
scale
God, I
operation.
do look orange on YouTube.
You really
you look
do.
red.
You look terrible. You
Oh,
really.
well, that's the filter.
Yeah, it looks like you're about to welcome us to Lollipop Land.
Like my eyeballs are going to burst out of my
Right.
head.
You really
Yeah.
look weird.
Holy
Kenny's going to
crap.
collapse any minute. Look how red he is.
No, he's just orange.
More
The
than,
beard looks good, though.
more than
Pretty soon you'll be like my dad putting the shoe
bronzer?
shine. Yeah, the
All right,
bronzer in his head.
can we just go here and just talk the news, please?
talk the news.
Or
Let
whatever
me
the
talk
hell
the
we-
news
yeah,
to you.
Yeah.
More than 1,200 officers helped conduct raids in Italy, the largest since 1984 against Cosa Nostra, targeting people for crimes including mafia affiliation, attempted murder, drug trafficking. The arrests are part of an ongoing weakening of the Sicilian mafia that was famous and served as inspiration for the Godfather movies. The mobsters wreaked havoc on the southern Italian island in the late 20th century, but have since lost influence due to authority crackdowns and the growing power of the Calabrian group La 'Ndrangheta. Got that? I'm not sure if that's right. It just sounded good. Prior to the raids, 2 years of investigations revealed how clans cooperate, recruit new members, and exercise control in the region, while also revealing a wide network of informants. Despite all the efforts, the mafia continues to wield strong influence in Italian industries, ranging from tourism to prisons.
So I got news for you. I've been reading about this. The mafia is having a hell of a time attracting new members. Seriously.
Not quality.
Well, there's too much competition. The would-be mobsters can go and get a gig doing something else.
Got it. And be on the up and up.
Yeah.
Can work in the government.
Right. Go be a Minnesota legislator.
Speaking of my dad, I did get a list this weekend,
Yeah.
and I won't bore you with the details.
No,
but
yeah, I hope you don't.
the highlight on it was Crab Delights.
What?
It's a bag of imitation crab meat that I was walking around Walmart trying
that
to
stuff
find.
is good.
He swears by it.
Yeah.
But the great thing is he sent me the list.
Is this a long
No,
story?
in Star Wars form. You know how in Star Wars the words
Yeah,
come this
sure.
way? So it's at an angle, so I can barely read the Dr. Pepper on the top because it's so squinty.
How did he do that?
In a world where you need to go to the grocery
Store to get Crab Delights.
Crab? Is that a food item?
It's imitation crab that I can't imagine.
There's no such thing
Well,
as
how do
imitation
they
crab.
make it?
You know,
yeah.
I'm sure
What
he,
is
I'm sure he
imitation crab?
microwaves it. You know, nothing.
Oh, you guys
And
are
the
a
whole
bunch of
second
snobs.
floor is going, oh my God,
you're-
who's got Crab Delights in the microwave?
You country club snobs. That
deletes.
stuff is really good.
Yeah, well, I got news for you.
I
I'm
can eat
eating
a bag.
crabs that are real, and you got to come out with a claw breaker and the whole deal.
Okay, Mr. Howell.
Thurston, you're here.
Rookie
like
here for
crab,
Bag
so-
o' Crab.
Oh my God. In a
Matthew,
galaxy
it's
far,
really
far away.
good.
That's
You'll
like
eat
that
a whole
crap
bag
that
in one
Roycey
sitting.
bought at the dollar store.
Oh, yeah.
Rookie did. And brought it to
Rookie
Royce.
did,
He
yeah.
made it
I
throw
felt
it away.
embarrassed when I had
Joe.
to throw it on the belt, you know?
You know what I bought this morning at the gas station?
Gas.
A can of smoked oysters and
Oh,
Triscuits.
I'm not
This,
gonna. I'm not gonna ridicule that, man. I'd wolf that down.
I'm going to go home, take
I
off the
love
shirt,
a good
eat
oyster.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
Did
Porky
you hear what he
Pig.
said? Did you hear what he said? A can, not fresh like we are normally used to. It's
No, it's a tin. One of
No,
those
they're a
square
tin.
tins.
fresh out of the ocean
Oh,
2
they're
years ago.
no smoked oysters are wonderful.
Do you know what the
Delectable.
fish is in the imitation crab meat? It's less than 2% of actual crab meat, but it contains Alaska pollock,
All right.
egg, crustacean shellfish, in other words, snow crab, and then it's got artificial crab flavor and lots of things like sodium triple phosphate, tetrasodium pyrophosphate.
Yeah, I challenge you.
You can water your lawn. You put that on your
That's
lawn.
Go buy a little bag of it and dip it in, what is that red sauce? I make it out.
Marinara?
Cocktail sauce?
Yeah, cocktail sauce. Yep.
Let's
You'll
play
love
the
it.
Price is Right game. How much is a bag of
Hey,
crab
when
delights?
Kenny gets the fake crab, though, he lives it up and gets the cocktail sauce.
Yeah, he's having fine dining.
Actually,
baby.
I know how to make it.
Yeah.
You use ketchup and Worcester and lemon and
You know what? You
That's
should bring that home for the CP tonight. I brought you home a feast.
Crab
Bag o'
delights.
crab.
White table, candlelight, or in Kenny's case, you just get the painting tarp instead of the white tablecloth.
You know, why don't you do your dad a favor and tell him you can't find it?
Wow, that's so mean.
Oh, don't give that. Don't
It's
give
the
him
only
that.
thing that.
Well, I didn't.
It's
Can you
sewage.
give him a little joy in his
88.
final.
I mean,
Then okay.
He
then
was
I
making
got
a pot roast. He's got candy.
Okay.
He's not.
I got a better idea.
Yeah.
Why don't you buy him some real crab? If he likes that, imagine
No,
how.
my dad is weird enough that he would just like.
Okay.
This stuff.
I couldn't find it in the frozen. It's next to the fresh meat section.
It's very healthy. It's got 6 grams of protein per serving, 40 milligrams of omega-3. Very healthy, Joe.
Yep. Your inbound inbox is going to be chock-a-block with angry emails tomorrow about crab meat imitation.
Well, good
It's
luck.
delightful.
Johnny, thank you. That's,
You're
just
welcome.
been really an eye opener. Thank
Glad
you.
we could finish with crab meat.
I am
Yeah.
too.
You know,
Imitation
you could
crab.
wash
Crab
that
delights.
down with that crab meat. You know, what you
I
wash it
need
down
something.
with.
What?
You could have some Master's Maples. Look at that. You could chug down a bottle of maple syrup.
It would make it taste better. I can tell you that right
Wash
now.
it down. Here's the deal. Masters Maples, the owner is Ben. He's a proud GLer, and his personal passion for maple syrup led him to creating Masters Maples 12 years ago. From tap to table, Masters Maples brings you 100% pure maple syrup. It's a gluten-free, natural sweetener that can be used in cooking, grilling, and glazing. And it's got a lot of health benefits as well. It brings a unique flavor to meals, but here's the deal. It's going to give you those benefits that commonly used refined sugars do not. Simply put, Masters Maples offers the best 100% pure maple syrup that Minnesota has to offer, and other products like the bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup, maple sugar, and also, these are really, really good. I used them over the weekend. The sweet and savory seasonings and rubs. Eat healthier here in 2025 by incorporating 100% pure maple syrup into your diet. That's right. Go online today. It's mastersmaples.com. Place your order at mastersmaples.com and let them know that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic podcast.
I'm telling you.
Here's a guy that loves salmon.
Yes, he does.
I thought you were going to do something.
Well, I was just waiting for you to play a liner. This is from Glenn. This is from Glenn, from our favorite mayor of the city of fighting city of Philadelphia. She was talking at the Eagles parade. Did you guys see this?
No.
I did not.
Well, she had a very, very powerful message for the fine residents of Philadelphia.
Reminded us all through their excellence that nothing is possible when we work together as a team.
Nothing is
Nothing
possible.
is possible.
Nothing is possible.
There
When
it
we
is.
work together.
Let's
Thank
go.
you, Glenn. That
Let's
gave me a
be
chuckle.
independent
fellas.
together.
I want you guys to know nothing is possible when we do this podcast
That's right.
Together.
together.
Ain't that the truth?
There are 12 public colleges and universities in Minnesota. 12.
12, okay.
How many total DEI employees do they have?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
good question.
I have the answer. I'm just
Okay, hold
wondering
on.
how
Let's work. You know what? Let's do this together, where nothing is possible.
Nothing is possible.
I'm going to guess it's at least 15 per school.
I was going to go 25
Okay,
per,
20. So we're talking 300.
It's a whole office.
300.
right around 500.
There we go. That's a good answer. 500.
Well, it's better than you thought then. It's only 139.
Oh,
That's only
not
10
bad.
per. Come on.
We're doing good.
Yeah. 12 public colleges and universities employ. That means you as a taxpayer, I assume this means only the public ones. Oh, it does say 12 public colleges and universities. 139, and you're paying for that, and they don't do anything because there's no way to measure what they do. So there you have it. Wow. It was on this day.
Oh, wow.
I hate to open up this can of worms when we're done, but how would your tax statement change if they were eliminated? Would you see a noticeable difference?
Of course not.
Okay.
You'd need numerous things to be pared down for your taxes to be changed. You need a whole different political ideology for your taxes.
Tell you what, let's break that down tomorrow on the Garage Logic podcast.
Maybe tomorrow you won't look so ill.
Yeah.
I changed the lighting.
Yeah, it's not as
Does
orange
help
now.
a bit.
A little better.
Your forehead's still red.
So are you trying to suggest that maybe what we need is an entire strategy and team to try to cut, some of this wasteful spending?
No, I don't want to create another department.
Hey, by the way, there will not be a Krabby Coffee Shop episode tonight at 6 p.m. like usual. It'll probably come out tomorrow afternoon.
All right.
I saw your co-host of Krabby walking out of the cafeteria. Yeah.
Amy, yeah.
And we were just discussing the show, and I said, it's so funny how two people that would really not want to do a show are doing a show together.
Well, the thing you don't understand about both Amy and I is we're far smarter than all the rest of you morons.
Got it. Yeah.
Seriously. Nobody knows how to do the job better than me and Amy.
Right. It's just, we got a good laugh over that. The both of you that really don't want to do this are doing this.
Anyway.
Because nothing is possible.
Nothing is possible
Nothing
if
is
we work
possible.
together.
independently together.
Only because they come to us all the way from Lake Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Traveling Lymans.
Yeah.
It was on this day.
Joe, today is February 19th.
Well, it was on this day in 1840 that Andrew R. McGill was born in Sagerstown, Pennsylvania. He served as the state's 10th governor from 1887 to 1889, and later as a state senator and St. Paul's postmaster. He died in St. Paul on October 31, 1905. It was on this day,
Feb 19.
in 1851, an act signed by Congress set aside 48,080 acres to support a state university, and the University of Minnesota was first incorporated 6 days later. That place takes up 48,000 acres?
That's surprising.
That's
I did not
huge.
know that, yeah.
Wait, what? Who?
There's no way the U of M takes up 48,000 acres.
Is that all?
But all of
U
their
of M
properties.
Morris?
Yeah.
Maybe
UMD?
that's it. Maybe that's
Well,
it.
don't they
U of
all,
M Morris is huge. Plus the farm campus.
I was just going to say, don't they own a lot of farming land too?
All right, maybe it's just here. On
Does
this
seem
day,
like a lot, though, Joe.
that's what I said. On this day,
Feb 19.
in 1902, the pink and white lady slipper, Cypripedium reginae, is named the state flower by the legislature following a discovery that the previously chosen variety of lady slipper was not native to Minnesota.
Whoops.
The wild orchid has a brilliantly colored bloom and thrives in damp woods, swamps, and bogs. It was protected by a state law passed in 1925 that forbid picking the flower. So, in other words, if you see a lady slipper out there now, a pink and white lady slipper, that's against the law to pick it? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
What if you mow them down in the woods?
And then
Didn't you do that story a couple of weeks ago? I swear you just read that. Doesn't
No,
that ring
it
a
was
bell?
it was on this day in history where it was the old bit of a Vietnam vet who took his tank and was mowing down rubber trees to stay off the road so he avoided mines. It was an old bit of a.
That is also a fascinating story. I love that story.
Yeah.
But I swear you did a lady slipper thing just a few weeks ago. I
last
have
year
some
on this day I probably did.
I have some answers for you. The U of M Twin Cities campus, 1,150 acres. Crookston, 128. Duluth, 322. Morris, only 145. So I think your contention is... Oh, wait a minute. The university also has research and outreach centers, including North Central Research. That's 1,000 acres, and 700 acres at the Southwest Research Center. But that's still not, what did you say, 48,000?
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's a typo.
Well, it's this day in history. It's very
Well, let's
factual.
go with 4,800.
All right. On this day in sports disappointment history,
Feb 19 of
1975,
75.
Fighting Saint Bill Butters bit the hand of a Crusaders fan during a brawl in the stands at Cleveland.
They had a Tilly in the stands?
We had Butters gnawing on a fan in Cleveland.
Come on.
That's what it's come to in Minnesota sports. What happened on that day? Well, we had a guy try to eat somebody in Cleveland. Bill Butters ate the hand of a Crusaders fan.
That's so awesome.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I love this.
Everybody just on their feet screaming, kill, kill, kill. This is hockey.
The traveling linemen's, Tom, I love this new edition, Minnesota Sports Disappointment History.
That is fantastic.
I don't, you know what? They probably were lucky to have even arrived in Cleveland. They probably owed the airline for that flight
Sure.
for the next month.
Right.
Now, I should know the answer to this. How many of those events did you cover?
Quite a few.
I was going to say, they had to have been fun.
Oh, it was.
It was right out of Slapshot,
Oh, it was.
wasn't it?
It was.
Was the movie based on that?
I'm seeing women with tattoos breastfeeding kids in the stands. Just all sorts of crazy.
The Slapshot was probably based on just the American Hockey League, which was Slapshot in its day. It's now sophisticated compared to what it was.
Yeah, today it would be Letterkenny.
Wives giving their husbands the finger from the stand. I'll get you when you get home, you SOB.
Reggie Dunlap, baby.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. What the hell?
Yep, I got her.
Oh, why can't that Lozinski guy be found guilty of treason? He's the
Greg?
guy who wants to break away from the country.
Stay tuned tomorrow.
MDE. I'll keep it.
All right. Stay tuned as we announce the new GLer of the week each and every week throughout the month of February. All you got to do is be an annual Town Council subscriber, and you're automatically entered each month. And if you're selected, you get a shout out on the show from the mayor and that amazing $50 gift box from our friends at Masters Maples. Don't wait. Sign up right now at garagelogic.com. You can also follow GL on YouTube. Yeah, Garage Logic's got a YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to that channel for daily content, including watching the show each and every day starting at noon on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. And don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all there for you. Oh, and the Daily Logician, an email. Comes right to your inbox, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast.